This is the Stargirl After Show with Sarah and Shawn. Your post-show breakdown of DC's Stargirl with Easter eggs, exclusive behind-the-scenes info, and cast and crew interviews.
This is our destiny. I finally know who I really am. I'm Stargirl.
This is the Stargirl After Show.
Hey Star fam, welcome back to Stargirl After Show, sponsored as always by Stargirl.tv and DCTV.news, your best resources for news, media, and spoilers about Stargirl and other DC Comics properties while they last. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Sarah.
This week we're talking about Frenemies Chapter 11, The Haunting, directed by Jennifer Pong, who did Season 1 episode, I want to say like 9.
Okay.
I'm guessing that somewhere around there. And written by Steve Harper and Maytal Schutt in her first TV writing credit.
Oh, that's exciting.
She was, other than James Robinson, my main point of contact in the writer's room.
Oh, very cool.
And this was her first opportunity writing alongside the great Steve Harper, who wrote an episode just a few weeks ago that was incredible as well. Because have any of them not been incredible?
Not that I've seen.
Anyway, so yeah, congrats to Maytal. She's really great, and I'm glad that she got this opportunity. And she might have been a full-time writer had we gotten a season 4, but I guess we'll never know at this point. But great things happening for her, and I'm very happy for her.
I love going on Twitter, and this happened a lot with Tom Swift. They had a lot of first-time TV writers, and they are genuinely so happy. And I went to school for screenwriting, so I get so excited when I see everyone. So I'm going to have to go check out to see if Maytal is on social media.
Can I address social media real quick?
Sure.
I want everyone to know that we're going to do one more episode after the finale. It's going to be a farewell to Stargirl, and we're going to have as many voices from the show as we possibly can on to have their goodbyes. And once that's out, I'm nuking Twitter. Twitter will be gone from my life. I will post links in the meantime to where else you can find me and Sarah, if she would like, on the internet, but I can't deal with Twitter anymore.
That's fair.
Officially announced. I mean, I already tweeted about it, but that seems ironic.
Yeah, but you can always find us on Instagram and a little bit on Facebook.
I don't really go on Facebook, and I'm bad at Instagram, but I am thinking about maybe a Discord.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I'm all over Reddit.
All right, so you guys will be able to find us somewhere.
Yeah. Twitter's always been kind of a garbage fire, but now it's like a garbage fire that's encroaching on my personal living space.
Yeah.
Like a worse garbage fire, like a garbage fire in my lawn. All right, moving on. Sarah, why don't you just take us into the episode?
All right, we start off 1 year ago. It's the end of season 1 battle between Icicle and the new JSA. We see it end with Mike coming in and hitting Icicle and him shattering into a bunch of different ice cubes. And then it kind of speeds up time, and we see the ice melt, turn into water, and all that water is joining together and running into the sewer.
And I mean, look, isn't that exactly what we called back in season 1?
Yeah, no body. Not really dead.
When you have an ice guy that gets crushed into crushed ice, that's the obvious way for them to survive.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go too far out of the box for this, but we still didn't see it coming.
I did not see this one coming at all.
I mean, we always saw how it could happen, but they did a good job surprising us out of left field.
Yeah.
The first time I read the script, I was like, oh my God, for last episode, not this episode, because that would be weird if I read last episode and then I read this episode and was still surprised somehow.
Yeah, that would be a little concerning.
I also want to bring up, I have since watched last week's episode with my wife, and she is mad.
She should be.
Yeah. We're watching it, and as soon as Crocks kissed Artemis on the phone to congratulate her, she went, oh no.
Yep.
And then at the end, the credits are rolling and she just goes, I'm so mad.
Yeah.
Mad is the way to be.
I don't think I'm mad. I think I'm more just sad.
Yeah, it's a real
When I was
bummer.
flipping through my notes, I caught the end of last episode and just seeing finding the flyers for Rip City leading to the manhole cover. And I'm like, oh no. Just relived it.
Yeah, I mean, I have been thinking about it like here and there throughout the week. It's maybe one of the most impactful TV deaths I've ever seen. I won't say the most impactful, because there have been some pretty impactful TV deaths, but it's like really up there.
It is. Along those lines, we're back to current times, and Rip City is closed. All these people are trying to go for their morning workout and can't get in. And the camera pans from up in the gym down to the tunnels, where we see Jordan kind of shaking, and he pulls off his glove and his ice hand is incomplete.
Dude, it looks so good.
Yeah.
That looked like a legit, like melty, like a hand made out of ice that had melted some.
It looked really good. Yeah, it was very believable. And he does a great job acting. Like, he is really struggling. And it's so different from first season Icicle, how confident and cocky he was.
Yeah, so he's like still struggling just to maintain his human form at this point.
All right. And then we go over to Courtney's house. First off, I love her sweater. Black and white stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, there's no shades of gray there. There's just the good and evil, all that yin yang kind of stuff. I thought that was great. But she's talking about how they're accusing Ultrahumanite, that it must be Ultrahumanite that has been watching them and that killed the gambler. So we need to get everyone together, including Grandma and Grandpa Icicle.
Yeah, she's making her case for everyone to come together. And, as always, she's still having to like drag people on board with her idea to get everyone together.
Yeah, Yolanda's like, why do we need Cindy back?
But look, what the scene's really about is Joel McHale's Donkey Kong noises.
That was amazing.
1981, guys. The 1981 guys was definitely an ad lib.
Yeah.
As were the sound effects.
Oh, that's amazing.
I mean, the line was, as scripted, was just, if we lose, it's game over. And then they have their argument.
Yeah.
About banter, which also was great because that moment of silence, he's like, oh, is that what you wanted? Just a real serious talk that scares the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
So good. I also liked his sweater. Pat's sweater, that is.
Yeah, with the one stripe thing.
Yeah, it's got like the one stripe and it turns into like blue from red.
Yeah.
It was a new look for him.
Wasn't just his puffy vest. Is that what Sylvester made fun of last episode?
Yeah, I'll bet you my red boots and one of Pat's puffy vests. I'm sure some other stuff was said in this scene, but like all I really care about is the Donkey Kong thing, honestly. It was hilarious.
Yeah, the one important thing is Courtney is saying we need to get Cameron in to help us. And Mike's like, no. What if he finds out and then that I killed his dad and then he, kills me? And Courtney's like, well, that's not going to happen because they think I did it. And she doesn't say like, hey, I took the blame for you.
Yeah, everyone was shocked.
Yeah. And she was just like, it's not important. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. So actually, this is really important. Probably, maybe, possibly even more important than the Donkey Kong thing.
I think they're even.
Well, because she took the fall for Mike or took the rap for Mike. And she doesn't even like want any recognition for that. Mm-mm. She's not trying to earn brownie points with the gang. Or like, hey, I did something to save my little brother's life or protect my little brother. It doesn't matter. They think I did it. Mike's in the clear. Let's move on. Love that. That's some real selfless hero stuff right there.
It really is. It's classic Courtney.
Very subtle, but very Courtney.
And then we get the knock and Artemis is at the door.
These people are always so nervous when someone knocks on their door.
Well, it's fair. At least, well, I guess I don't know if she locked it.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. Courtney's mask is just for fashion.
Yeah, it's true.
Everybody knows who she is.
All right. And then we go over and see Jordan's homecoming. Lily and Sophus are so happy. I love Sophus's reaction. He can't even speak. He's just so happy and goes and hugs him. I thought that was very cute.
Yeah, they really killed it in that scene. And that's all it is just like, I'm home and they're like awash in the endorphins of that. And there's really nothing else to that scene.
Yeah.
And like, I just was watching it and I just sort of like basked in like what that must feel like. The closest thing I could think of it would be like someone that, you know, that's in the military, like a family member in the military suddenly comes home unexpectedly without announcing that they're going to.
Yeah.
That's the closest I can think of, because I don't think there are a lot of people who have had a dead loved one turn up on their doorstep.
No, that's probably pretty rare.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The ones where the parents come back and surprise their kids at school. Those videos on YouTube, they get me every time.
Oh, that's funny. I was thinking about the ones where the dogs rush up.
Oh, well, yeah, that
too. We have different experiences in life.
But one difference, I think, is Cameron doesn't immediately go to hug him, because I think he's processing what Courtney is telling him and recognizing that. And so he is very hesitant, but still, you know, his dad's back and he's happy.
Also, he's young. He's probably seen some zombie movies.
True.
You got to be a little cautious.
And then we go into this study and Jordan's talking, you know, about all the snow globes and how he brought them back for Cameron's mom to honor her.
Yeah, and I'm just like, Jordan, Hunter already explained all that to us. You just slow your roll. He did notice one was missing, though. The one that Cameron broke early in the season.
Yeah, the Courtney one.
Yeah, the one with the girl that looked just like Courtney in it. Cameron's like, yeah, shut up about the snow globes. Where the hell have you been? Why weren't you here? Why did you let us think you were dead?
Which, all fair questions.
Yeah. I do like the idea that he basically was dead, in that he had no consciousness, because he was a puddle. And despite what the Wonder Twins would have you believe, there are no neurons in a puddle.
Yeah.
Wonder Twins, real deep cut for you guys from the Super Friends. They were twins, and one of them could turn into an animal, and the other one could turn into something water-based. They were pretty worthless powers for pretty worthless characters that were going to have a movie, but then it got canceled like 12 minutes after it was announced.
That's a shame.
Well, they cast a couple of white people, and those characters were Asian, and it was like, what are you doing in 2022?
Okay, well, yeah, I'm glad that they made that decision then.
So, yeah, I think that Icicle's explanation holds water. I was trying to think of another phrase and I just couldn't think of one.
I think it's perfect there.
The pun was absolutely not intended, I assure you. I feel bad about having accidentally made it.
Cameron tells Jordan that Courtney told him what happened and that she killed you. And Jordan's like, no, she didn't kill me. It was Mike. So I'm immediately like, oh, this can't be good.
Yeah, like totally just throws Mike under the bus. I'm doing it again.
Cameron still is believing Courtney, saying that she said that you killed people, and he doesn't deny it. He said that his goal was always to help people. You know me.
Yeah.
Like, well, I thought I did.
It's almost like a non-denial denial.
Yeah.
It's like saying, my goal was always to help people. As if he anticipates that Cameron is going to interpret that as, I tried to help people, not murder them. Of course I didn't murder people, without actually saying I didn't murder people. But Cameron's kind of seeing through it, I think.
So later in the episode, we see that Jordan is lying to people, but he doesn't actually say a lie to Cameron. So it could be that that's his weakness, is his family. I mean, that's what he always preached about, but he doesn't want to actually lie to Cameron.
Yes, could be.
And he said that Courtney helped him to see they want the same thing. They want peace. Well, he doesn't say peace, that they want the same thing. And Sophus is like, you want peace, right? Right? And then Jordan's like, yes.
Courtney inspired me. We want the same thing, to murder our enemies and drive them before us. Just like Courtney.
Yeah.
I do love that he is not the first bad guy this season that has talked about Courtney's influence on making them want to turn over a new leaf. Just last episode, prior to their murder, the Crocks were saying the same thing to Lily and Sophus.
Yeah, Jordan's been watching. He knows how to manipulate people. And he knows that people have a soft spot for Courtney.
So you don't think that Jordan is being sincere?
No, since he lied about, I thought that the Crocks were attacking me when he's the one that lured them down there.
Did you ever think he might be being sincere?
Up until he said that it was an accident that he killed them, because it clearly wasn't.
You know, obviously knowing all along that he wasn't sincere. I'm just curious how people interpreted that. Because clearly they sort of want people to think maybe he's sincere right until the end.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I didn't know for sure if he was teaming up with Ultrahumanite. At the beginning, I think I was hopeful that he was turning a new leaf. But then as soon as he said the thing about the Crocks and lied about it, then I was like, oh, okay, no, he hasn't changed. And then Ultrahumanite at the end. I thought they may still be enemies and he may try to team up, but then he would turn on them.
Did you at any point question whether he intended to kill the Crocks?
No, I think he meant to.
Yeah, I think the flyers acting as a lure for them really takes away any doubt there.
Speaking of, Beth is tracking the signal from Sportsmaster's mask and finds it under Blue Valley, and they drop down that same tunnel.
Now, this is a new they, because we got Courtney, Yolanda, Beth, and Artemis. Rick is not answering any of Beth's calls.
Shouldn't someone else try calling him?
I mean, he's probably just not going to answer anybody's calls.
Maybe, yeah.
But, you know, him and Beth have the closest connection, and so she's the one that typically reaches out to him because hashtag Our Night.
Oh, I'm not on board with hashtag Our Night anymore. Not after he yelled at her.
I mean, he's kind of yelled at everybody always.
Yeah, well, I'm not on board with him with any of them.
That's fair. So Artemis, actually with the team, because of course they're trying to find her parents. So of course she's going to be there.
Having a few discussions as they're going about, should we suit up? And Courtney doesn't have the staff because Sylvester's off with it, trying to track down Ultrahumanite.
At which point my mind immediately went, is this going to be 4 straight episodes with no Cosmo?
Yeah, but he showed up.
He did, and I was very excited.
Very angry Cosmo.
I was like, there's Cosmo.
Artemis does say that if Lily and Sophus were involved with their parents' disappearance, that she would skin them alive. So that's a little frightening.
So when they get in and they find the croc dust, yes, I'm going to call it croc dust. I want to point out Courtney's reaction when Beth says that it's human remains.
Mm-hmm.
It was so real. It seemed like Breck just found out those were that they had actually murdered the actors.
Yeah.
Joy and Neil to make that. She caught me off guard with how just unexpected that was.
Well, yeah, because you expect the big reaction from Artemis, but you weren't expecting it from Courtney. But of course, Courtney feels that.
But it's not over the top, or it's just oh my God.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just a tiny little moment, but it really stood out to me.
And I am glad. I was worried by the fact that they were, shattered into ice and all that last episode, that we may not get the resolution this quickly. But I am very glad, because I wouldn't want it dragging on, that Artemis doesn't have her parents and they can't find them and everything. I think it was heartbreaking, but I think it's a good storytelling perspective.
Can I also say, just real tour de force by young Stella Smith in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
The way her grief turned to anger, which was also still grief, a couple of times in this episode. Just it really kicks you in the feel bone.
And then we continue with the sadness and the heartbreak with, Pat's in Stripe and gets a call from Courtney. And you don't hear Courtney's side of the conversation. You just see Pat's reaction.
And Mike can kind of sense that something's wrong.
And then Barb gets a call and you see her getting emotional at work. But she doesn't have a lot of time to process because then one of her coworkers comes up and, you're never going to believe it. He's back. Jordan's here.
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple of things to say. One,
okay,
that woman needs to read a face.
Yes.
Like, this woman is clearly distraught about something. And you're all like, hey, la-di-da, something's great. Barbara never got to process. Like, she never got to have that grief.
Yeah.
She had to immediately spring into, like, defensive mode, figuring stuff out mode.
And we haven't seen Barbara have another friend besides Paula.
No.
Like, this has got to be devastating.
Unless you count Tim Tattle.
I don't.
So there actually is one of her coworkers at The American Dream is someone she went to high school with.
Oh, okay.
But all those scenes where they discuss having gone to high school together and stuff ended up not making the final cuts.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, who's to say they're friends now? She certainly isn't going out and hanging out with anybody.
True.
I think, regardless of that, Paula is still pretty much her only friend. Her only good friend in Blue Valley.
Yeah.
And a new one at that. And she's just found out that she's gone. And the person that murdered her is suddenly, like, in front of her. So with everything that she's experienced with Jordan, she's obviously processing immediately, oh, you killed my friend.
Yeah.
After you tried to kill me and my husband and my daughter and 25 million other people, not an exaggeration.
Oh, he's the worst. But he follows Barb into her office and he's saying that he wants his life back and people love him. They're going to accept him. They've already accepted him. She calls him pure evil. She did this with the shade too. She comes in hot and tells it as it is. And I'm like, maybe if you're trapped in a room alone with these people, you should be a little more strategic in your talking. But she doesn't hold back.
Well, with Icicle, I think that she knows that if he wanted to kill her, it doesn't matter. She's not going to provoke him into killing her with whatever she says. And if he was planning on it anyway, then it's going to happen.
Yeah. And right now she is angry and she's upset and she is, in mourning for her friend. And she probably, a little bit of her wants to maybe get payback.
And, it is weird. You said that thing about him mentioning that everyone in Blue Valley loves him. That really sort of undercuts everything else he says in this scene. Because that seems like a brag. Like, hey, whatever you think, the people of Blue Valley love me, so they'll go along with whatever I say. Mm-hmm. And then he starts making the argument like, your daughter has inspired me. Now I'm really not buying it.
So, okay, I guess they knew immediately that he was the one that was spying on everyone. That's just fast for them to put it all together. I wonder who they thought it was before he made his appearance back at The American Dream.
They didn't have the first clue, I would think. I mean, I don't think that what they found of the Crocks, I'm trying to be delicate about this. Like, I just realized that I'm trying to speak delicately about their death as if they're real people.
Yeah.
That's some good writing right there.
It really is.
I don't think what they found of their remains indicated ice death in any way.
Right.
Because that wasn't ice. It was some sort of, I don't know, maybe it was their bones having been frozen and made brittle and shattered. Because it wasn't anything that was frozen that could melt.
Yeah.
Or it would have melted. I don't think we're meant to think that, like, they looked down and went, oh, they got frozen to death.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I wasn't putting together.
Obviously, as soon as Jordan shows up, then we know what the deal is.
Yeah. And he offers his help with Ultrahumanite, said that the Ultrahumanite followed Sylvester here and that he hated the ISA as well. And so he wants to help take him down. And then this was the point where she says, you froze Croc and Paula. And I believed him up until this point. But he says, I didn't want to kill them. And they came in too fast. It was terrible. Lies, lies, lies.
So maybe they were noticeably frozen and the kids just thought, I don't know, maybe they thought it was one of the other McKents.
Well, yeah, that's what I was wondering about. If they were going to accuse any of them. But they also have a habit of, as soon as a villain is introduced, they assume that that's the one behind everything.
I mean, it's fair.
I mean, it worked out in this one. He admitted to killing them, just not to wanting to kill them.
I mean, look, if your neighbor got murdered and then a murderer showed up in your neighborhood, you're going to assume that murderer is probably the one that did the murder to your neighbor.
But I mean, somewhere like Blue Valley, there's a lot of murderers that hang out around there.
There's like 14 people in that town and they're all murderers. I mean, let's not gloss over the fact that the people we're mourning right now, also murderers.
Yeah.
We watched them murder one innocent coach. They referenced 2 previous innocent coaches. They killed a less innocent Anaya Bowen. I think that's all the murders we actually saw them do.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm sure there are more. But they got better.
They did.
Also, the murdered person that this whole murder mystery was about, the gambler, also a murderer. We saw him murder at least 2 people, both of them just innocent workers, maybe corrupt. But yeah, one by poison, one by gun. Look
at the JSA. You got Yolanda and Mike.
Yeah.
And Starman, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Bruce Gordon for a minute there.
Yeah.
A lot of murderers. Though, I still don't think that Yolanda had any other choice. And Mike's was an accident.
It's true.
I mean, look, if Yolanda hadn't done that, she would have been dead seconds later.
Oh, absolutely.
And then 10 minutes later, all her friends would have been dead.
I'm not saying that she was wrong.
And then 25 million people would have been dead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, full-on self-defense camp right there.
So when Courtney calls Starman, when he's out at the barn trying to check out to see if Ultra Humanite is still there.
Is it Courtney or was it Pat?
I thought Courtney called because she tells him Icicle's back.
You're right. They do show the other side of the call. I was misremembering, but I looked at my notes from like half an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvester goes to the Etter farm. Court tells him Icicle is back. He blows up the barn. So, yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to doubt you.
No, that's fine. Yeah, so Starman totally handled that as predicted. And then we get the scene with him and Pat down in the basement. And Sylvester is, rightfully very upset about the prospect of Icicle possibly working with them, saying that the line needs to be drawn somewhere, and I'm drawing it at the guy who killed me.
I would argue that Sylvester is a little upset at the guy who killed him, like breathing.
Oh, yeah.
I think he draws the line way before working with him.
And his line to Pat, where Pat said, well, we thought that he was dead. Well, you got to check your work, Pat. But also, like, Sylvester, you were dead, and then you came back. Is that on Icicle? Or whoever actually... Do we know who dealt the killing blow?
It was Icicle. He
Okay.
shot the Icicle into him.
Okay, all right.
Went whoosh, and then he fell. And then Pat got him to the car, and then the car crashed. And then, not you. Definitely not you. Ugh. I know my impressions are spot on, right?
Closing my eyes, I thought Joel McHale was here. So Pat is proposing that they use Icicle, not work with him, to use him to take down Ultra Humanite because they hate each other. They're sworn enemies. They'll take each other out. And Sylvester is like, no, the plan is this. I'm going to go take out Icicle myself, whether anyone approves of it or not.
Yeah, he seems not to have really ever gotten over the whole, like, leadery thing.
Or, being killed thing.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. If anyone here needs therapy, I think it's him.
How's a therapist even help with that?
Yeah, that'd be a little difficult.
You know what, though? It's a comic book world. They got therapists for back from the dead stuff.
Yeah.
People have definitely looked into that.
Oh, for sure. All right, and then we got Cameron coming over to Courtney.
Hey, you remember how I was so mad at you for killing my dad? Well, he's not dead, so, like, we can smooch again.
Yeah. What is he thinking? And he's like, oh, well, she also didn't actually kill him. So I guess I'm cool with her now. It was just her brother.
Yeah, it's like the last words he said to her were, I never want to see you again. And then regardless of the rest of the events that have happened, she's supposed to just be like welcoming back. Like, oh, so you want to see me now because your dad's alive. That's great. I'm so glad. Let's have this perfectly healthy relationship without talking things through first.
Yeah. And he calls her out where she's like, he hasn't taken accountability for his actions. Your dad was not a good guy. And Cameron's like, well, where was that for the Crocks? Where was that for Cindy? And I'm like, but the Crocks and Cindy both helped take down Eclipso and dedicated themselves to becoming better people.
Yeah.
All your dad's done is shown up and said some words.
Well, he was actually doing the being a better person thing while he was a terrible murderer. I mean, he almost single-handedly rebuilt Blue Valley's economy and vibrance, helped all kinds of people with their jobs. Like, he did a lot of good things, honestly.
He did, but that doesn't make up for all the bad stuff.
No.
The other, Cindy and the Crocks, gave up the bad stuff to focus on the good.
What we saw the Crocks doing last episode, where they're like all integrated with the community, going to events, they're jogging and play punching with the cop.
Oh, yeah.
All of that, like, that was Jordan's whole thing for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Blue Valley loves him.
Yeah.
Because he was, right until the end, honestly, he was going out of town to murder people.
Yeah, that's true.
That's considerate, I guess. Considerate murder. It's a weird conversation.
I don't know that I would consider it considerate.
Considerate to the people of Blue Valley.
No, I know. But
he didn't murder anybody in Blue Valley until the wizard.
I don't know that it's considerate to them. It's just
until Joey, excuse me.
Being a decent person to not kill people.
No, I mean, he was doing murders, but he specifically went out of town to do them. If you're gonna murder, that's the most considerate way to do it.
Okay.
You don't murder in your own backyard. Until you need to take out a 10-year-old for some reason. Or however old Joey was. 14, I guess?
Yeah, more like that.
And then his angry dad. And then his grieving mother. And let's not forget, he did give orders to kill Mike so that he wouldn't have a legacy running around wanting revenge one day.
Speaking of Mike, him and Jakeem are trying to figure out what wish they can do. And they finally decide to wish that Icicle doesn't have his powers so he can't come and kill Mike.
You know what my favorite thing about this was? Jakeem was actually using the pink pen to write down his draft of the wish.
Oh, did he really? I didn't catch that.
I was like, oh, he uses it as a pen. I don't know why I suddenly think that is weird.
I mean, yeah, it is a little strange. But Thunderbolt replies and says, I can't take away his ice powers. That would be killing him. And I can't do that.
I love that. That's such a good detail.
Yeah. And I love that it also shows progress that Jakeem made the right wish and he had the intent behind it and everything. Just like Zeke's grandma was talking about with the intent. So that it would have been successful had it not been a wish that would have killed someone.
I think it was specific enough. He didn't.
I never trust anything with Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
They'll find a loophole anyway.
Jakeem seemed a little unsure of himself as he was reading it.
But Mike is mad because he's like, if you don't kill him, I'm going to die. And then more people will die after me.
Yeah. I wonder if they had thought to take away his ice powers without killing him. If that would have worked.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or,
I feel like that would be a murky area.
So, okay, you can't wish for things twice. Does that count wishes that don't work? Could you say, I wish that Jordan McKenn's powers were not keeping him alive and that he could live on his own without his powers, and then go back and make the other wish? Or is that wish already wished, even though it didn't get wished?
I have no idea. I have not read enough Thunderbolt to know what would happen. And is it per person? So if someone else...
Well, only Jakeem can make wishes.
I know, but was it Johnny had it originally?
Johnny Thunder?
Yeah. If he made a wish, could Jakeem now make that same wish? Is it like per person, or is it per Thunderbolt?
Probably per person, because we're talking genies here. And
that's what I was thinking too.
You only get 3 wishes. Well, then for the genies that only give 3 wishes.
Right.
That's 3 wishes per person. Yeah, not 3 wishes ever.
True.
But the best part is, while they're talking about this, Cindy shows up. And the best little 2-line delivery is she says, "Let's team up." And the Thunderbolt gasps.
Yes.
That was great. I didn't even need the little hat of Jakeem being like, "She's on my bed."
Oh, I loved his line where she was like, "Okay, the door was unlocked. What if I was Jordan? Where would you be then?" And Jakeem just is like, "We'd be frozen." Just admitting, yep, we don't know what we're doing. That's why we need you.
Yeah, because that lock was going to stop Icicle from getting in if he wanted to.
Of course. Then Courtney's out for a stroll. I mean, I know she's a superhero, but why would you walk alone at night when you know murderers are out there? But she does, and of course runs into Jordan at his mural. And she's telling him, "I don't know what you're up to, but we're going to stop you." And he tries to do his own pitch about, "I don't want us to be enemies. Let's be allies."
Sometimes I feel like that's how Courtney greets new people.
That I'm going to stop you.
Yeah. "I don't know what your plan is, but we're going to stop you. I'm just the crossing guard, lady. I don't, my plan is to help kids cross the street. Have a good day."
I would love a villain crossing guard. I think that would be great.
It kind of sounds like a villain name already.
Yeah.
"Beware the crossing guard." Throws little stop signs. So Jordan makes his whole case to Courtney about, "I want to do better. I want to turn over a new leaf. All this stuff that I've been hearing works to persuade you because I've been spying on you for however long." And she doesn't seem to buy it. As much as she wants to believe in people, she just can't seem to bring herself to believe in Jordan. Even though in the next scene, she's like, "What if he's not full of crap?" But I feel like she's trying to be that person, but she still is not buying it.
Oh yeah, this was her first big bad. She became Stargirl to stop him. I feel like you're always going to have a little bit of extra, not hatred, because I don't think she hates him. Extra caution around that person.
Well, I mean, she does say "I know you," and that's a good point. Or was that Barbara that said I know you?
I know Barbara did. I don't remember if Courtney did.
But the point is they know him. They know that he's willing to do whatever he has to, kill whoever he has to, in order to do what he thinks is going to help.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't see the cost as being too high.
Yeah.
And that's just not the kind of person that you can persuade.
No.
I mean, if your starting point is 25 million people is a small price to pay for literally anything, there's no right way to end that sentence, then that you just can't come to an agreement with that person.
No, I don't think so either. I thought it was interesting that he was saying, "Not asking you to forget, just hoping you'll forgive me. We can work together. And then you and Cameron can start up again." That's weird. Why are you really pushing your son to date her?
It's just manipulation. If you just overlook all these murders I did and tried to do, then maybe you can do some smooching with my son.
That's so creepy.
You guys can go to the prom together, maybe. I don't know what this voice is.
Yeah, it doesn't sound anything like Jordan.
It's like Jon Stewart's Jewish grandmother voice.
Yeah. All right. And then here came the tears with Artemis alone in her room.
Oh, man. She was trying so hard to hold it back. It's like, I'll work out with this kettlebell. And I mean, she's got some rage in her.
Yeah, throws that around, and I love that Barb's the one that came over and tells her that she needs to come back over and gives her a hug and comforts her. I think that was very important for Artemis because I'm sure Artemis saw her as a maternal figure in her life, with how close, how much we saw how much she knew about Croc and Pat being friends. She had to know that Paula and Barbara were friends too.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the Crocks, now that their secret was out, I think the Crocks really opened up to Artemis about all kinds of things probably.
Yeah.
And she had to know that Barbara's the person out of everybody that probably misses her mom as close to what she does as anyone else could possibly. Yeah. Still nowhere near close,
right,
mother, friend, but still that's the closest grief connection she has, I guess.
And that family is loyal to a fault. And so often people will shove people away when they're in grief and in mourning. And so I kind of expected her to do that, but Artemis just instinctively trusts Barbara. And so I thought that was a really good scene. And it was very believable too.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, she's a 15 or 16-year-old teenage girl.
Yeah.
And I just have to say it again, Stella Smith really killing it this episode.
Oh, yeah.
All 3 seasons, I would say Stella hasn't gotten as much screen time as we would have all liked to see.
Mm-hmm.
Because Artemis is a great character. I would have loved to see a lot more of her. Stella's a great actress. She had a lot of screen time in Black Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
She's great. I would have loved to see more of her, but at least now we're getting high concentrations of how great she is.
Yes, absolutely.
Still not a lot of screen time, but really owning the screen time she does get.
Oh yeah, she's making it count.
And not just her. Yvette Monreal killing me without saying a word.
I had to pretend that I didn't know her mom because I'm her mom does not deserve this. But I think it's very believable that Yolanda had this reaction after just seeing someone lose their parents of wanting to reach out to hers.
Yeah, and saying I only lied to you to protect you. Because she's thinking had things gone differently, had I let my mother in, it might be me grieving my parents right now.
Mm-hmm.
And God, that girl can break your heart without a word, without a sound.
Yeah, that was a really powerful scene.
Yeah, I mean, whew, that's all I can say. Oh my God. I'm kind of misting up a little bit just right now, just thinking about those back-to-back performances.
And then we continue with emotional scenes with Sylvester pleading to Courtney to let him take the staff, face the man who killed me and my friends. It's it's very hard to argue with that.
Yeah, he managed to dial back the anger.
Yeah.
And make it about grief in that moment.
And I think that's what it was all about. And he just, gets angry very easily. But yeah, the fact that he did not just take the staff and run, he actually is trying to play by the rules and talk to Courtney about it to get her permission before he goes and does it. That's huge growth for him. And you can see just the pain that he's in.
I also love Courtney's response, which is to look to Pat for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And, Pat can be a little inscrutable sometimes. But I feel like his face was what the right choice is.
But she doesn't actually verbalize an answer here.
No, because we got to leave some stuff for next week, I guess.
Yeah. We go to the woods. And Jordan is out there walking. And I had flashbacks to the first season because he left the giant ice star in the woods pretty early on to get Stargirl's attention. And so I was kind of thinking drawing connections to him being out there and up to no good. And it's true. He was out there meeting up with Ultrahumanite, saying it's time.
Now, what he meant was, it's time for us to fight, because I am supposed to take you down and be a good guy now.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even convinced by myself. So yeah, not super shocking. I think all of us are court. All of us are like, it would be nice if he meant these things he's saying, but I just feel like maybe he wants to murder people.
Yep.
You know, for the greater good.
Ugh, he's such an evil villain.
He is. And my favorite thing about him, and about well-written villains in general, is that he's the hero of his own story.
Mm-hmm.
To him, he's just willing to do whatever it takes to help people, and doesn't understand why more people aren't willing to go to those lengths for what is objectively good goals.
Yeah.
You know, he's a Ra's al Ghul. Same exact thing. Except that dude wanted to kill like half the world.
Yeah, I was thinking he's like a Killmonger. Just in the fact that you can see his point. And you can kind of agree with it. But just going about it in the wrong way.
The cost is too high. I would have loved for the ISA... I gotta be careful how I say this. I would have loved for the ISA to have achieved their goals in a bloodless way without mind controlling anyone.
That would have been great.
No death. Like, good goals. Bad methodology.
Yeah.
Bad methodology.
Very bad. We do not condone it at all.
I want to be on record as saying I do not condone genocide. A hard take, I know.
Yep.
Hot take, excuse me. I don't know the lingos. All these young children these days. So that's it. So yeah, let's find out if Yvette Monreal can make us cry in person as well as she does on camera.
Stargirl After Show. Stargirl After Show.
Okay, so I'm here with, actually, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not here with anybody. Full disclosure, we got a little ahead of ourselves in promising an interview, and at the last minute, some scheduling conflicts came up with Yvette, and she was not able to do the interview in time for it to be here in this episode. So here's what I'm gonna do. As soon as I can talk to Yvette, I'm gonna do so, and I'm gonna put it out as its own separate episode right here in your podcast feed. Come back and get it. And then once I have that, I'll also pull this out and make it seem like I was professional the whole time and this never happened. So people that haven't listened yet at that point will never know this happened. So let's just keep it a secret between us. And in the meantime, here's Sarah and I pretending like an interview just happened here. So enjoy that.
Stargirl After Show.
So wasn't that a great interview, or maybe not?
I enjoyed it.
Or not, if there wasn't one. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. So, Shawn, if people want to find you elsewhere on the internet, where should they look?
You mean like me or my stuff? What with the whole Twitter thing? What do you think we should do?
I guess your stuff.
Okay. My stuff is and remains at fandomlim.com, where I have my other podcast. I forgot the word podcast. Where I have my other podcast, Table Reads, and my monthly podcast, which is still being updated, unlike Table Reads, which will be updated eventually, but probably not until this podcast is done.
But you got plenty of back episodes for people to listen to.
That's true. We have like 140 episodes almost. And some of them are like long. So go listen to them. There's a lot. Sarah, where on fandomlim.com can people find your stuff?
So you can find me at A Swift Review and What's New Nancy Drew. Season 4 is going to be coming up of Nancy Drew. So we'll be covering that. And in the meantime, we got a few things planned. So definitely go check it out.
Also, if you want to find me on Reddit, I'm the Jedi Bugs. That's Jedi like Skywalker, and Bugs like Bugs Bunny.
Okay.
The Jedi Bugs. Because I had Jedi Bugs and then I forgot the password and then I could never get back in.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's funny.
I don't know if we should start a Stargirl Discord or join one already in progress. We should look into that.
Yeah. People who are on Discord, chime in and say what you think would be best.
Yeah.
For now, reach out to us on Twitter.
Yes. At Stargirl Pod. Also, don't forget that we have merch at stargirlaftershow.com/shop. And rate and review us. Because that seems like it still matters somehow.
Yeah. Did you see the flowers my husband got me?
I did. I saw it and I was like, I don't remember getting flowers.
Yeah, he since all of my shows have now been canceled for all my podcasts, my other co-host Ben came over, and so my husband got him a Nancy Drew bouquet of flowers that had a magnifying glass in it, and then he got me a Stargirl bouquet.
Nice.
A little star in it. It was very nice. A nice little closure. But we still got 2 episodes left here. No, 3. No, we do have 2.
Oh my God. Is it just down to 12 and 13? Oh man. I'm getting, 3 episodes of the podcast.
Yes.
We've got 12 and 13 left of Stargirl, and then we'll have our retrospective. We're going to talk about the whole season, the whole series, and we're going to have some very special guests to probably make us cry for real.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I already cried when we talked with Brock.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm going to cry again.
Gosh, such a bummer.
But next week's episode title should perk us up a bit, right?
Oh, yeah. It's really uplifting. Join us next week for Stargirl Frenemies, Chapter 12, The Last Will and Testament of Sylvester Pemberton.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Well, we'll see you next week. Until then, have a super great day.
Stargirl After Show is a production of Fandom Limb Media.